What's going on, everybody? Today is going to be a special day. Not only am I making this video outside of my normal spot because, well, it's just full of shit, but we're not going to be watching one movie. We're going to be taking a look at 3 different PSAs made by the government back in like the 40s and the 50s. My wife went out one day to I don't know what she was doing, but I think she hit like a Goodwill or something, and she found this. It's just a DVD with 4 old movies on it. On each of the DVDs, there's like a special feature thing, and each one has like this, I don't know what you call them, PSAs, but they're like from back in the 40s and 50s. I dare say these were more interesting than the actual movies themselves, and I don't know. I hope it don't get claimed. If it does, that'll really suck, but I don't know, I want to kind of just show these off because I thought they was pretty interesting. I guess in some ways you could call it propaganda, but you know, whatever. We're going to take a look at these. And the first one's pretty interesting. The $1 million nickel. All right.
Here in Philadelphia, since 1793, they make money.
Here in Philadelphia, motherfuckers make money.
Silver dollars and half dollars, quarters and dimes, and pennies and nickels.
Oh, it's like how it's made.
And of all the coins minted in this building, the nickel was once the most important to the average American.
Really?
Yes, for a nickel, any of us could buy most of the little things we needed. Remember when for a 5-cent piece we could get this, and in most cases a free lunch besides.
What? For a nickel and a free lunch? That's tits.
And for that same nickel, we could buy ourselves a shave, and for 2 nickels, a haircut. And if we wanted to see Mary Pickford or William S. Hart, all we needed to do was pay our nickel at the box office and all the world opened.
Damn, a movie was a nickel. What the fuck?
But what this man still sells for a nickel is worth $1 million. It is a stamp to send letters abroad.
Oh, stamps. I don't know. Should have known.
In the post office in New York, these letters are bound for the 4 corners of the earth, and each one costs, that's right, a nickel.
Oh my God, those nuts.
But all part of a great American habit to put it in writing and drop it in the mailbox.
Bonk.
Ever occurred to you that America was settled by mail? Well, it was, literally. When the Pilgrims first came to these shores, the Mayflower pouches brought their letters back to the old country, telling about the wilderness and the sun and the rich earth of the rain.
Can you imagine being a mail carrier back then? Let's give it up for the mail carriers, you know? Fuck them letters, you know, who cares? It's the dude that's got to take it across.
Letters told of the great men, of Washington, and Franklin, and Jefferson, and Hamilton. And the letters told, too, of the words these men thought and wrote, words that have set the design for free men everywhere. Their letters told that men of principle fought for these words at Concord, at Lexington, and Saratoga. And these letters reached men who were victims of tyranny.
Fuck, smash chair, fuck this shit.
Fever swept the world.
Did you know syphilis, they say, came from North and South America? They didn't have it over in Europe. They came over here and got it and brought it back. But I heard, I don't know. Maybe that's true, I don't know.
To old Castle Garden and later Ellis Island they came, shiploads of them, to gaze at the Statue of Liberty and the skyline of the New World. And the immigration officers saw that they were from everywhere.
Do you think this is how the immigration office looks like nowadays?
And as they trooped down the courthouse steps, all of them without exception had one thing in mind: to write to those left behind.
Look at everybody in their fucking fedoras. What the fuck? Everybody has a hat.
They write almost 500 million letters a year. 16 million to countries under Russian domination.
Look at all that pre-email. All those text messages. That's what they used to look like.
I came to this country a year ago. No one has checked my papers yet. Not once has a policeman stopped me to ask where I come from or whether I have this or that certificate.
This letter reaches Poland, and this man's young cousins living in Warsaw in communist terror have found another weapon against tyranny.
Honestly, that would be something. You had to grow up over in one of them countries during this time, that would suck.
And who has had a thorough indoctrination of Russian propaganda, wrote home in amazement to his country.
I've gone out among the workers to see how they are ground into the earth by the capitalist bosses. My friends, it is unbelievable. The chief complaint is about the parking problem.
Exaggerated, of course, but Russian agents still have difficulty with this student's brother when they discuss the poor worker in America.
That's crazy. Does that mean they're telling him, like, no, they're probably thinking of, like, the Great Depression and how nobody's working and all that. Which, I mean, would have been accurate, like, before World War II.
We can transmit personally to other men in other places and tell the truth. And by act of Congress, we can do it for a nickel. A nickel that's worth $1 million. Or a letter from a friend goes out not only to the mind, but to the heart of all the world.
The end. Write letters. But I guess that's the moral of the story. That's pretty interesting. $1 million nickel. Funny how times change. Every once in a while complains that, oh, they raised postage again, blah, blah, blah. Which, you know, kind of fun to think that back then it was a nickel and it was a big deal to a lot of people. Next up is Paris on Parade.
The Paris Exposition was undoubtedly one of the most important events that happened in the year of 1937.
Really?
For no other reason than the fact that it brought together, for the first time in the history of world expositions, the official flags of 44 nations, which waved side by side in a spirit of international goodwill.
They look like ants.
A panorama from the Eiffel Tower reveals how this international exposition was cleverly designed on the banks of the historic Seine River.
Damn. That's what the view from the Eiffel Tower looks like, apparently.
Without jeopardizing the ultra-modern aspect of the exposition.
Fuck that. I don't mind crowds, but, you know.
The Canadian Pavilion was an idealized version of one of Canada's many grain storehouses.
Canada's embassy looks like grain silos.
And the adjoining Pavilion of Great Britain was a modest representation of the British Empire.
Great Britain's is Grande Bretagne.
The Swedish Pavilion had a charming simplicity.
Suede.
And that of Czechoslovakia was a model creation of future architecture.
Yeah, Space Needle on their building.
The United States Pavilion was constructed according to American methods, featuring the typical setback design and the American Indian motif.
No, it shouldn't have had Native American shit on there. It should have had a McDonald's, a Starbucks, a Best Buy, and like, you know, a Walmart.
British colonies were well represented at the exposition, and nothing was more impressive than the Pavilion of French Indochina.
French Indochina looks like Hobbit land.
The most impressive of the colonial pavilions was that of French West Africa.
What?
Representing Senegal, the Ivory Coast, Dahomey, French Sudan.
Wonder why they call it the Ivory Coast.
That's where we be getting that ivory, yeah! Fucking elephants.
For a brief interval, our international tour was interrupted by a thrilling demonstration of water skiing in the Seine.
Yeah, like I said, interrupted, you ass.
Touring over the Russian pavilion, we behold a monument which was generally conceded to be one of the masterpieces of the exposition.
That's badass. Yeah, that's a masterpiece. That's a hell of a thing.
This gigantic statue, approximately 100 feet in height, is said to have been designed by a young girl in Russia.
That's nuts. That's crazy as fuck.
Walking up the Avenue of Nations, we paused to admire the very colorful Egyptian pavilion, representing one of the world's oldest styles of architecture.
Those aren't hieroglyphics. That's just a bunch of shit on the wall.
The tower in the background was that of the Hungarian pavilion, around which the colorful life of a romantic people was faithfully reproduced. The native costumes of a people often reflect the spirit of the people themselves, and when a group of Hungarians get together in their native costumes, regardless of time or place, the inevitable consequence is a chardash.
What? You know them Hungarians, they always be dancing.
Representing Norway was a pavilion with a huge aluminum cascade over which a thin veil of water flowed in imitation of a typical Norwegian fjord.
Where's the Vikings?
Under a colorful array of flags stood the Spanish pavilion.
Okay.
Here we were entertained by typical music and dancing, which associated itself with the province of Segovia in Spain.
What the fuck? Hit somebody. Somebody get hit. This is annoying.
Just outside the Spanish pavilion, in the center of the Avenue of Nations, was the so-called Fountain of Peace, considered to be the most beautiful aquatic display ever executed by the hand of man.
As long as I'm the mayor of this city, that water keeps dancing.
The masters in the art of constructing artificial water displays, but they excelled themselves when they constructed in the Seine River the world's most colorful and sensational illuminated fountain.
Cool. Looks like fucking lava, like the crater of a volcano.
And witness what their respective nations could do if the ugly spirit of war were submerged for all time, and each country, regardless of size or power, could safely devote its resources to the cause of peace on earth and goodwill toward men.
Yay, that's it. Hooray, Paris on parade. Showing off what we did in France. We as in us and all them other countries. Like, I don't know. I don't know why Paris. Why did we choose there? I don't know. Maybe they were just like, hey, fuck it. Wonder what that place looks like nowadays. Is it still all big and impressive like that? Definitely want to see that Russian statue. Fucking giant, dude. That shit was cool. I'd go there just to go see that. There's a few Russian statues I want to go see. The Stalingrad one. You ever see that? There's a Russian statue in Stalingrad. It's this fucking giant colossus looking thing. Cool shit. That's the second one. That one was more of like, I don't know, not so much a PSA, but a more as a like, hey, check this shit out. The last little short film PSA thing is probably my favorite because it was filmed and deals around like pretty much right after Pearl Harbor. Like, Pearl Harbor had just happened, and it deals with a topic that is relevant today, which is deadly, stupid-ass rumors and the spread of misinformation. It is called Mr. Blabbermouth.
By order of the Coast Interceptor Command, this station will now leave the air. Put out your lights. This station will now leave the air.
Oh shit.
The lights went out. For the first time in this century, automobiles were gone from the streets, pulled up with the headlamps out. Suddenly Los Angeles was a silent city, and in the quiet we all felt kind of solemn.
Yeah, get dark. That'd be so crazy to see. Fucking a whole city just turn off like that.
But the next day, the sound came back like a shout.
Oh, look, nothing happened. Cool.
News bulletins every few minutes on the radio. Conflicting headlines hitting the streets almost as fast. And we all talked at once. Were there really enemy planes over last night or not? Everybody was hungry for information.
What happened last night? What happened last night?
Which brings us to the hero of this short picture. Everybody knows him. He belongs to one of the largest families in the land. There are thousands of him, springing up like skunk cabbage, shooting off his or her face in practically everybody's neighborhood. His name is Blabbermouth, and incidentally, we think of him as a kind of a heel.
If you ask me where our Navy is, it's down at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. That's where it is. The Japs sunk every darn ship of it at Honolulu. Why, I tell you, there's nothing at all to protect us anymore. Those Japs will be landing here any day now.
That's it. We're fucked. We're screwed. Why do I even bother getting a shave?
Our trembling tonsorial artist, when he heard what the local blabbermouth was saying in the first week after Pearl Harbor, might have said to himself, I know Japan has an excellent navy. Many an American did underrate.
They're an island. I would assume they had a good navy.
The Japanese Navy was victor of round one wasn't a rumor, but a solemn report from the President himself. That the combined fleets of the United States, Great Britain, and the Netherlands Indies had at least 16 battleships in the Pacific to the Japs' 11.
What?
Total for Japan, 274 ships. Total for the United Nations, 337.
This isn't a vote, you know what I mean? Well, these numbers don't mean shit. If I can just get some good pilots and some good gunners, and you'll be blowing shit up in no time. Yeah, look at the fucking bomb. Boom, boom.
But of course, mere statistics never baffle a true blabbermouth.
Maybe so, but you gotta be prepared to fight a war like this one. Why, my brother-in-law Wilbur, you know, the one with the egg-shaped head? Yes. Well, his girl heard a fellow say that the Japs have stocked up on enough iron and oil and ammunition to fight a 20-year war.
Ooh.
Now that they took Malaya and the Dutch East Indies, they've got rubber, too.
I want to read that book.
It is not rumor but fact that Japan has for years accumulated a formidable stockpile by purchasing the discarded odds and ends of the world's junkyards. By using the most ingenious salvage methods imaginable, she is able to convert this material, along with the crude iron ore available from her own limited resources, into a yearly production of 7 million tons of steel. The United States is producing 88 million tons, which is more steel.
They start talking about all the different resources we have versus what they have. Is anybody really concerned with that? I don't know. I guess it's good to know, but like...
Which is aluminum, too. 24,000 tons annually. The United States produces 400,000 tons. The boys from Berlin, Rome, and Tokyo have 29% of the world's coal.
Oh, no!
The Allies have 67%.
Phew!
The oil. Ah, says Blabbermouth, they've taken the oil away from us.
Oh, no!
Forgetting, of course, that every time the enemy swept into an oil field, he found it a flaming ruin.
Oh, shit.
Out of these devastated fields will come very little oil for a long time. Very little to add to the Axis share of just 3% of the world's oil.
God damn.
Sacrifice on a national scale, with the family horseless carriage laid up in the garage, while Mother and Dad develop muscles they haven't used for years.
Look at the double bike.
Thus helping to create the largest stockpile of natural rubber in American history.
We're gonna go get a month's worth of groceries. We'll be back. I wouldn't believe... Somebody told me a stupid rumor about supplies. I'm like, whatever. What am I gonna do about it?
When arithmetic begins to baffle our hero, he turns to another rumor.
That article I was reading said those Nazis and Japs been training for this war ever since they was knee-high.
Oh, no!
Now, how can people used to peace like we are ever expect to beat them?
Don't worry, dumbass. You won't be going to war.
We do all right.
Wang, you're doing all right.
What the fuck?
You little farmers of China, they say that when the first Japanese planes flew over you, you couldn't even comprehend what they were.
It seems weird to me nowadays because I've always known China to have like this massive giant army, but apparently back then some people thought that like, no, they don't know what guns are, they don't do anything like that, and it's like, sure about that? I wouldn't believe that either. It's like, it talks about how the Germans thought the same thing about the Russians. Like, oh, it's just a bunch of peasants. We're going to go in there and clean house. That is not what happened. They kicked the shit out of them.
Destroy one rumor, though, and two more will spring up. Sometimes, the Lord forbid, Blabbermouth appears as the female of the species.
I just know they were up to something.
Mrs. Blabbermouth, the yardstick of common sense, reminds us that our own FBI had opportunity to learn a lesson from France and Norway, and learn it well.
This part of the movie is about how, I don't know, people are worried about spies and traitors and shit like that, but it's like, it goes on to say like, yo, our FBI has like a hard-on for catching Nazi spies and shit. Like, you don't have to worry about this shit getting through the cracks. We're bringing anybody in.
As is shown in these news pictures, we have had 3 years more than they had to get ready. And there is no moment in the day or night that our FBI is not watching and ready to spring. But alas, alas, do you know that there are millions who still believe in the secret weapon rumor?
That thing looks so fucking cool.
Hey, Bill. Listen to this. It says here in Confusing Stories that them Nazis got a new weapon, can fly 432 miles an hour, can land on the water and make like a battleship with 16-inch guns. And on land, it can burrow underground like a mole.
And it sounds fucking cool.
It shoots deadly radium rays. Can kill a whole city just like that.
Fuck yeah. I have the same reaction. I'm like, woo! You know what, though? I'll give it to this one, though. This is the only one that's done some good. Because without this super Nazi secret, weapon, we wouldn't have a final boss in Wolfenstein. That's a pretty cool rumor. And, they make death rays and teleporters and shit. I've heard all kinds of whatever. None of it's true, because it's just fantasy, but they built Metal Gear.
These got together and worked out a contraption that would go under the water. Tested it out until it actually worked, and so invented the submarine.
I didn't know he made the submarine. Learned something new, I guess.
It was in the United States, in case you've forgotten, that was invented the first armored battleship.
Didn't know he made battleships either. Well, we're the ones that are making all the fucking secret weapons. Like, everybody else like, what the fuck is that thing?
Like this.
I have a few sources of my own, but our so-called allies are already beginning to gang up on us. Now, look at England, for instance. Of course, everybody knows that she'll fight to the last drop of American blood. The only thing that they're interested in is that everybody else go out and fight the battles for them while they sit back and save their own skins. And as for those Russian Bolsheviks, well, they're just biding their time, make a deal with Hitler, and then stab us in the back.
Did you hear that, Walter? Just wait till I tell the boys at the board meeting tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a few documentaries where they talk about this type of propaganda. A couple dudes will just go out there and just start talking a bunch of shit and get everybody riled up. And then they're like, fuck yeah. To be fair, though, that guy is a fucking idiot. He heard a stranger talking and was like, that's gotta be the truth. I'm telling everybody. It's like...
Well, with propaganda like this, Hitler very nearly destroyed the old world. Himself, he used rumor, first to set capital against labor and...
Fucking riots, yeah, beat shit out of you!
This was the way bitter hatred was created between the Germans themselves, until there was neither free labor, free capital, nor freedom of any kind within the Reich. They laid plans to use exactly the same methods to create dissension in the United States today. Divide our loyalties, and then conquer us. That is one thing that is not going to happen here, Brother Blabbermouth, and this is why.
We have not been stunned. We have not been terrified or confused. The militarists of Berlin and Tokyo started this war, but the massed, angered forces of common humanity will finish it.
Hey man, that's FDR. This is like right after Pearl Harbor. Like that speech is like, he's like, you want some motherfucker? Well, you're gonna get it now. Like that shit's cool.
They challenge each and every one of us. And each and every one of us has accepted the challenge for himself and for his nation.
Well, I don't know. Mr. Big can talk all he wants to on the radio, but I still heard that if we're gonna win...
Yeah, fuck you. Danger of misinformation, propaganda, and fucking toxic rumors. Especially on a sensitive topic like that. Like, what a fucking prick. Our Navy's dead. They're gonna come get us. We're all gonna be in prison. We're all gonna die. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, what a prick. Why would you do that? These are pretty interesting. I thought this was really cool that these were on here. It's really neat to look back in time and to see, you know, what shit was going on back then. Does some of it hold up today? Yes, some of it does. Like spreading toxic, dangerous rumors about sensitive topics like war and all this shit is like, that's, you know, people still get in trouble for that nowadays. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you liked the video, leave it a like. If you're new, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you again.